Hello everybody! How are y'all doing today? I'm your host Jack Decker, and it's time for the Daily Decker! The Daily Decker! Oh yeah, the Daily Decker with Jack Decker! Yeah! Well, y'all, it's a beautiful snowy day outside. Temperatures feels like below zero in the wonderful town of Rochester. Thank you all for listening to the show. I'm your host, Jack Decker, if it wasn't already self-explanatory. But it's time for your daily dose of news! Searching around the interwebs, found out scientists are theorizing about putting solar panels in outer space. Can you believe it? Dating back to the works of Sir Isaac Asimov, where he put the gigantic space solar stations beaming down microwave energy onto our fair planet to feed all of our hungry internet, our energy requirements, so we can watch YouTube or listen to SoundCloud. They finally decided, hey, it's 365 days a year, perfect light, no overcast, no nothing bad against solar panels, except maybe the occasional asteroid that might wipe out all civilization on Earth. But that's more of a problem for us than the solar panel array, so they'll probably just worry about Earth in that case. They're going to put them in geosynchronous orbit, tied down to the Earth itself to provide our solar energy requirements. Right now, I admit, I'm a fan of solar energy, but we have a really big problem. Sunlight. Guess what? We've got quite a few hours of darkness in the day, especially when you're at one of the higher latitudes. Oh my God. All you have is endless night winters. It's so cold, and only it gets colder. But tying along with the whole idea of the space station solar arrays, they're also working on such a magnificent concept as the space elevator. Now, if you're a sci-fi nut like myself, then you're very familiar with the space elevator idea. Essentially, the satellite is in completely anchored orbit around Earth to a nexus on the planet that has an actual elevator that allows people to ride up from the planet's surface to the space station. The idea also being that because it's latched onto the Earth, the centrifugal force behind it will also provide the gravity necessary to allow you to have a more Earth-like existence on the space station. Now, whether or not a centrifugal force geosynchronous orbit actually does provide the gravity required, I don't know. I admit I am not a scientist. I'm just a YouTuber that enjoys reading the crazier sides of the internet to bring you the coolest news possible. That being said, they're finally working on it with nano diamond filaments. They believe they have finally created a structure strong enough to support the massive G-forces required for a structure floating around in outer space. Could you believe that? One day, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, not by your car, not by your bicycle, not by the stinking public transportation, but by a space elevator as you are launched, hurtling hundreds of miles per hour into the sky. Wouldn't that be cool? Unfortunately, it's still kind of in the concept stage, so it might be a while before we get to enjoy such awesome eccentricities. But we can always remain hopeful. That being said, also looking around the darker places of the internet. Okay, maybe not the darker, just the weirder places on the internet. Also found out gravity might be failing us soon. Can you believe it? Ah! No, apparently it's an old science fiction gag going back to the days of Galileo that gravity might one day fail us. So if you are like I, who saw the NASA tweet and went nuts trying to figure out what on earth this baloney was about, and threatening to call shenanigans on various peoples. Don't worry, gravity will not be failing us anytime soon. But though gravity might not be failing us anytime soon, it might be failing a rocket that's trying to land softly on a barge in the middle of the Atlantic. Or was it the Pacific? I don't know, it was a barge somewhere. SpaceX has encountered something of a little bit of a setback. Their reusable rocket, which was supposed to land on a barge in the middle of the ocean, kind of had a slightly unfortunate explosion or two that kind of put a few little dampers on the reusability of the rocket. After all, it's kind of hard to reuse a rocket when it's scattered into a million pieces across the ocean floor. But hopefully they'll try again. Yay! Let's see more explosions in the near future. Who knows, maybe one day it might even work. And now I'm stuck behind the garbage truck. Curse you! And what looks like a hearse of some sort. It's a pooper scooper business with the license plate Duty 2. It's like Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters, just not anywhere near as cool. Yeah, random rant for the day. As many of you have heard in my past rants, the one thing I hate most about going to work isn't so much the long drive, the soul-crushing number punching, but the goddamn tie you're stuck wearing every day. Come on, man, it's like a leash chaining you to your desk, letting you know you are a slave to that desk and must punch in the numbers or die. Sadly, though, ties are a fact of life. If, though, I could go back in time and locate the moron who came up with the ties, I tried to devise the many fiendish plans I would have to kill the person who invented the tie, so men everywhere would not have to suffer his crap for the rest of history. If you have any ideas of how you would punish the man who created the tie, please put them in the comments below. This way we have something for the trolls to enjoy as they complain about every single theory about how time travel is impossible, how mean you are for hating a guy who invented ties. Well, their loss. Our gain! Speaking of trolls, new internet legislation that they were talking about, wanting to force everybody to have their real name on the internets to reduce trolling. Well, I like the idea. The problem is no one's gonna use their real name on the internet, no matter how hard you try. And you're still gonna get trolls in one form or another who just don't care. So, I thank those who are voiced their opinion of the anti-troll legislation. That'd actually be cool for a name. The anti-troll bill. Sounds like something out of J.R.R. Tolkien. Maybe the elves passed it back in the day. The anti-troll bill. We shall destroy those trolls as they hide under their bridges, demanding tolls on all good men and women who are just trying to make a daily living. Oh, that's not the type of troll we're talking about? Oh yeah, the rude internet trolls. Tough luck. Maybe if we can get them in their little cubicles where they hide. That'd be interesting. Open troll season tags. That wouldn't go over so well either. But, thinking of trolls, notice my inability to snap. So trolls, troll my snapping. Sadly, this video alone will probably have trolls galore. You idiot, lols, you splash hole. But who knows what the trolls will come up with. Any ideas for anti-trolling legislation, please put in the comments below. Trolls unwelcome in that bit. If only Freud could see many of a YouTuber today, it would say, me think you have a disturbing problem here. He would say, it all comes down to sex in the end anyway. But you know, even Freud once said, sometimes a cigar is only a cigar. No, who's here is a D&D fan? Raise their hand. Okay, this is you too. Maybe I can't see you, but the point is still there. I remember when they switched from 3.5 back to 4.0 in the day. It was probably the worst thing Wizards of the Coast could have ever done to the D&D franchise. But thankfully, because of it, they did give us Pathfinder. And I do thank them for that, because I do love the Pathfinder game. They continued to refine 3.5 to now the joy it really is to play today. And they, though from a internal marketing perspective, it was not that great. Yeah, it was an interior marketing perspective. Somehow that doesn't have the quite ring. I'm an interior marketing director. Oh well. But anyway, going back to D&D, I was finally reading about the new D&D system. Back at PAX, I think 2012, they were calling it D&D Next. Thankfully, they dropped that name and just came up with D&D 5th Edition. I was looking through the rules, which you can get the starter rules PDF online for free from Wizards, which I do thank them for that, so that they're trying to actually get the fellowship, the followers, the devoted fans back. So instead of saying, hey, here's our brand new system, fork over $50 to see if you like it, they go, hey, we'll give you I think it's 4 races. I was looking at this last night. 4 races, 3 classes, and enough stuff that you can actually get your game started to see, hey, here's our new D&D system back. Or kind of like the old D&D system back, which I admit I was not a 4.0 fan. I did like the inclusion of the rituals bit, but you could have included that in a 3.5 game, and I do that as homebrew anyway in my Pathfinder adventures. But beyond the rituals, there really wasn't enough that grabbed me about 4.0. It was all about combat, not really about role-playing anymore. And sometimes having to play combat out for an hour on end because you had to put so much crap in there for your characters to fight against because they had all of these super power skills from like a video game. Guess what? D&D, I don't play it to play a video game. I want to play the role-playing adventure. Yes, I like to beat up goblins and take their money, and hell, what nerd doesn't like loot? But there comes a point when when you just combat overrules everything else. And I didn't like that about 4.0. Thankfully, granted, I'm late to the party coming out with the new 5th edition. I think it came out 2013 later-ish. But hey, the reason why is I was kind of disenfranchised when 4.0 came out. So am I going to keep track of what Dungeons & Dragons is doing? No. I found Pathfinder and did Pathfinder. I've been doing Pathfinder ever since. Thankfully, if any of you are interested in a great podcast, however, there's Acquisitions Incorporated, following the adventures of, Binwin Bronzebottom, Jim Dark Magic, Will Whedon as Al, and I forgot who else. That was how I found out that they finally brought Dungeons & Dragons back. Looked at the new rule set. I have to admit, some of it I don't understand it on a quick glance, but it looks like they brought a lot of the 3.5 back. No more of all of this just repeated encounter powers garbage. They brought it back. Hey, most of your stuff is daily again. You have to use it strategically throughout the fight. It's not like you can just use, channel energy every 10 seconds. No, you have to actually stagger throughout the day because you don't know how often you'll be in combat for the rest of the gaming session. The combat abilities did get modified a little bit. They now have this new base attack and then train thing. You get an extra D6. I admit, I still have to read more about it before I give a complete thumbs up or thumbs down appraisal. But I highly suggest, if you did get disenfranchised with 4.0, to at least look at 5.0, give it a try maybe. It does look like they conceded and gave some middle ground. They simplified things a lot more so than 3.5, but didn't dumb it down to like the Barney style that 4.0 did. So give it a try. It's available for free from Wizards of the Coast. Just Google Wizards of the Coast starting PDF, and you should, a link or two later, find it on the Dungeons and Dragons website. Either way, all, thank you for listening to the Daily Decker and for your daily dose of news. If you like listening along to the Daily Decker, please subscribe and comment below. If you're a troll, please go somewhere else. Or troll your trollness. That didn't quite work, but hey, who cares? But like, subscribe, and see you all next time!